relationship. This whole episode is about relationship. Who filled that void for you guys? And for the father. And I can just add a little thing. But I feel like for me, the church leaders helped. The older ones too. Right? Those, I think there were missions. I don't know what they're, but people like John or Trevor or Pastor Ian and they came at different times in my life as well. Or even my brother. My brother played a father role, right? Which was well needed. But I feel like a lot of people played that role, whereas when I got older, I didn't really feel the hurt that I should have felt from my father being missing. Because I always got it through someone else, you know? I didn't really, but as I got older, the hurt of what he did kind of set in some more, but it wasn't as strong because I had those people in my life, you know? So, yeah, who filled the void for you guys?
For me, it's a series of people, man. Like, so many different people.
And if you have someone special, like, mention
Pastor Ian, I could say, is like a big role model in my life. It's funny, as I get older, I talk to him less, but I used to call him every hour, every minute when I'm struggling through some, when I'm going through some, or, you know, just I could be myself with him, right? And he would, you know, advise me accordingly, right? My uncles later came in my life. They also schooled me. I wish it was more of the biblical standpoint, but they had more of education, you know, the traditional education or whatnot. Yeah, a series of people, man. Like a lot of the youth leaders, basketball filled a lot of void.
For sure.
A lot of
Good
void,
point.
right? I thought I was going to the league, man. So I was so hung on that, like, I need to focus on this, go to the right high school.
What age did it where it sat in where like, yeah, I ain't going to the leagues?
I think grade 11.
Oh wow, that's really good.
Grade 11, because I went from like the tallest kid in grade 7 to like the shortest in grade 9.
What a shift.
Right? And I never grew since then. And then grade 9, I was one of the best, right? I'm not going to lie. Grade 10, I was still considered good. But grade 11 is when it was a different ball game, like recruits and everything, right? So, and I went to a top school in Toronto, right? So, yeah, that was a big void. That was filling a big void in my life. And then what else would I could say? And just trying to be successful, like not trying to be I can't even pronounce this word. A statistic. So like a tongue twister for me. Not trying to be that. You know, growing up in an inner city neighborhood, right? It's so easy to have that attachment. I have a lot of friends that passed away. A lot that didn't make it to see 20, 21, 25, 30, right? So I told myself, that path didn't work. I can't take that path, right? So just having that in the back of my mind that this is not what my life is called to be. I got to be successful, right? Whether it's going to school, whether it's getting a job, whether it's providing for my family, right? So all those little things shape me to who I am today, right? And circle of life, it brought it back to God, right? Like I realized even though I was chasing success, chasing ambition, I still fell on my face, right? God humbled me in a nice way, nice way, where I'm not proud of it, right? But at least I'm here now, and I'm so thankful that He's given me another chance. Salvation is so awesome. The fact that God is knocking. He's knocking on that door. He's saying, hello, Enoch, I'm here. Just whenever you're ready, I'm here, right? And so many times we ignore Him. We're so distracted by what the world is putting in our eyes, right? So I'm so happy that He was still there for me. And it's like a good father, right? You're never going to give up on your child, no matter what. This way you and your child will kick off, your child will go to the bin, you'll still never give up on your child. And that's what I love about God. Like, He never gave up on me, right? So, yeah. I know I blabbed off too much, but yeah.
It's good.
Yeah.
For me, okay, so I know my father, he was there. So he contributed the biggest, I would say, in my life in terms of just, you know, his character. Like I always remember my father waking up in the morning going to work. My father was a working man.
Yes.
I never watched my father beg for nothing. I never watched my father, you know, try to cut corners through life. He was a always legitimate working man. He was a man of income. My dad, you know, we had like wall to wall Encyclopedia Britannica collection, and I used to just open it and just like look at the pictures, and you know, and he's like, you're not watching no Rescue Rangers or no Darkwing Duck. You're watching TLC, and you're gonna watch the animals chase each other, and you know, so my father whet my appetite to learning. My biology, he loved to like everything was about book and learn, and you know, so he got me my educational side comes from my dad for sure. My appetite just to learn and understand things. But as the years went on, my uncles, when I went back to Jamaica, they put a big imprint on. Those guys put me to work. I wasn't allowed to slack. I wasn't allowed to sleep in. You will work, bro. And I hated it because I was like a little lazy fat kid. You know, I used to like run off to the bush, try to get some sugar cane, some fruit. I used to dodge work.
Sugar cane.
Yeah, I hated work. I hated work. But now, but now work is all I know. So my uncles, you know, they showed me marriage. They showed me how to raise kids. They showed me how to do for self. You know, they said things like, if you don't have it, learn to do without.
And I think that's important too. Like them putting you through that ringer of hard work, so it's not a shock to you when you're older.
Exactly.
Whereas some people are spoon fed, and then it's a shock to them. Like, oh my God, like I don't want to continue this job. Like I'm tired.
I see it all the time on the job. Kids that don't have no work ethic.
Oh,
If you don't have a work ethic, you're gonna starve. You know,
Real talk.
and I in my same thing. Like my oldest son Malachi, like he does everybody's laundry. Like
Wicked.
I instill like work
Wicked,
ethic
wicked.
is like key.
Real talk.
Like if I raise a lazy child, I'll take that very personally. Like I take that very like
that's
I take
insulting your parenting.
yes, I take offense to that. Like you will work. You will not be a lazy child because your work ethic is gonna keep you alive basically. Right? So that's one, and then it broke down into ministry where I had pastors, my pastor back home, Reverend Dunn, right, used to preach to me every Sunday. Then when I came back to Canada, it was Jermaine Jackson. Big up to Jermaine Jackson. To follow him on Instagram. He was a youth pastor out in Scarborough. I used to go to the Toronto Church of God, and we were knuckleheads in church, and we didn't pay attention. And he used to protect us from the other church members. Like, what are these black kids doing in church? They don't even wear no dress clothes to church. And Jermaine used to protect us, bring us back to his house, sleep on his couch, break down the Bible for us, talk end time prophecy. We don't even know about. We just
Wicked.
you know?
End times.
End time, you know, just anything. And he would just be there, you know. And I'm like, why is this guy so happy? You know, I think he lost his job at that church protecting us, you know. And at the time, I was a selfish kid because I didn't care. I just went off into the world and just was just chasing girls. Then flip side, when I got a little older now, first generation for you guys, youth, right? I was there when Pastor Olu just started, right? And Pastor Olu put a lot of work in.
Oh yeah, I remember.
Don't
those
get it
days.
twisted, because I was there with the man them when Pastor Olu, like gunman them were there in youth group.
For sure.
And Pastor Olu was playing his guitar and preaching and dealing with enough stress, right? So a lot of
We'll
people
get nuggets after.
Yeah, and get nuggets after. And, no, him and his wife and will be there, and and these kids were very disrespectful and very ungrateful. And Pastor Olu, so when he elevated to head pastor, anyone that's criticizing him, they don't know what they're talking about, because the man put in mad work, and he put up with a lot of foolishness from the community. You feel me? And I hope the city of Toronto gives him something, because he put a lot into that community. So Pastor Olu was the one that
Talk the talks, Mikey.
no,
Talk the talks.
no, I've been through it, because I've been through it.
I feel you.
And then later on, you know, Trevor and Ian and them came after, but I was serving with them and serving your generation. You know, but basically they created a haven, because I told you, in Driftwood, a lot of men got killed over the years, but a lot more would have been killed if that youth program wasn't running.
100%.
Say that again. Say that again.
I say that
A lot
too.
of kids died over the year. I know enough men finally got slaughtered, got killed, but enough more would have died if that program didn't run. And at the time, I was a younger Christian, and I was very critical. And I was like, yo, it should be running this way. But as I grew up and I look back, I'm like, you know what? I should have shut up, because the man were putting in real work. right? And they're doing a parenting of a lot of whatless parents in the neighborhood who wouldn't even take time out to take care of their youth.
Right. Talk the things.
Yeah, so here's this man putting in work now and saved enough kids' lives, you know, and hopefully that ground that he broke in those youth, right, will resonate today. So it was, and so after you know, Pastor Ulu was one of my father figures, and then, you know, I ran with it and served while some of you guys were in youth, right? And then when I moved on, other father figures were just like, you know, I had to go back and like read, like Benjamin Franklin's a father figure for me. And I know it sounds corny, but I had to read like old men who achieved something in the world. Study, you know, I read Ben Carson's book. Read a lot of Brian Tracy. Book. Yeah, I read just different and just took things from accomplished black men and accomplished men, and sort of my character is like a quilt. It's like a mishmash of different people, right? That made me, you know. So it's a hybrid, and you know, Tupac is one of my father figures too, right? And Kobe Bryant is too. Yeah, because all those people. I was there listening to Pac's album in Driftwood by myself. I had nobody new, and that music used to like soothe me. And I'm like, why is this guy rapping about stuff I'm thinking about? That doesn't make no sense. But was it the best source to get guidance from? No. But it's all I had, right? So my character became this quilt. But for my children, I don't want that. I want it to come from one source, right? And if people want to add to that, that's fine. But I had to mishmash my character from a collection of people, right, who I never appreciated at the time because I was too young and selfish.
Yeah. But we didn't know better.
Damn. We didn't know better.
We didn't know better.
Gospel.
We didn't know better.
We didn't know better. We did not know better.
We did not know better. For sure.
I don't know how I'm going to follow that
I don't know how to Damn.
Real talk. I think, yeah, you kind of summed it up well. Like, I had father figures that were a mishmash. So I took different things from them, right? I think my natural, especially when I became a Christian, my natural bent was towards like the Bible. So people that were always kind of emphasizing that, I kind of gravitated to more. Like Pastor Dino who served at our church for quite some time. I remember,
he's a big influence.
For real. And
Forgot about Pastor Dino.
For real. And I remember just how he was emphasizing just the word of God, continually preaching it, continually being fervent and talking about it. I remember sitting in the back and just Sunday after Sunday, just being teary-eyed, right? Just being emotional and having a desire to kind of do, right? Continue my walk as a Christian, continue being persistent because how the word was preached, and I'm not trying to point it to a man, but I'm saying his desire for Christ, it came out through what he was saying, and it had a significant impact on me. So I remember Sundays continually where I'm just teary-eyed. And I'm just like, yo, I need to grow. I want to grow in this way. I need to do this. And it's building me. And funny enough, I'll say also Tutu, right? We talked about how you don't forget the investments someone makes in you. And Tutu was he's like Dino, like he's the Bible guy, but Tutu's the Bible guy that's like the crazy man on the street.
Bruh, let me say something.
Let me you know what it is, and you're like, yeah, and you're like, you know what, and you're just like, okay, but Tutu, he loves the word so much that it really just spills out, and it's in everything he's talking about. Oh yeah, this is this, yeah. You see, you have to take in the NBA like this. It's like this, yo. Just, and you're like, okay, yeah, for real. And you're not. It's not something that's like, yo, just Tutu, shut up. It's like
you're listening.
My gosh, like
when he speaks,
he's just. And then it got to a point where he's running Friday night Bible study consistently. Doesn't care. We're here. If you're about it, you're about it. You're sitting here. You're with it.
Let me say something. Sorry. Let me say something. To this day, it hurts me that I did not take Bible study a little bit more serious.
I hear you.
Because from what I've been there, I still remember.
That's what I'm saying.
I still remember him telling me, "Oh, I threw out my music when it was time," and those little things. I'm just looking back. I'm like, "Oh my God, all these Bible studies are not like the ones we had." Bro.
Absolutely.
That's how I feel about Pastor Dino, man.
No doubt.
I wish my spiritual life was on fire when, now that he's gone, like I appreciate him more.
For sure.
Damn.
Exactly. For sure. And he's still wherever he is now, he's still doing the same things he's doing. Nothing has really changed.
Because still same
when the
formula.
word takes root in you or it really impacts you, you're a different person.
Yep.
Right. So, sorry, but let me get back to Tutu.
Continue. Give him his flowers.
I have to,
Give him his flowers.
there are a few people that are emphasizing the word of God because it will go back to my main point. But Tutu would be up Friday nights with us, deep in the night, talking the word. And he's like, it got to a point where he's like, yo, I'm done. I'm not doing this no more. You guys are gonna teach. And we all had to force ourselves. We all had to force ourselves to go through Matthew, go through different parts of the gospel, start leading it, start talking about it. And how does that happen if someone doesn't put our feet to the fire? To do that. Yeah. So now I feel many of us that were exposed to that are kind of competent. If we ever were to do something like that for younger people or in the future, we have a basis on how to run it. Because he said, yo, I'm not just going to sit here and just pretend like you guys are taking something in. No, show me you guys are taking it in. Show me how you're applying the word. Show me how you're talking about it. And he threw us to the fire to do it. So we don't get that if someone's not just pushing us to see us grow.
He's investing.
And I'm talking about the word first, but I'm getting bits and pieces from everyone, right? Yeah. Pastor Trevor, his patience, just being able to be understanding.
Those
pieces, taking the pieces,
absolutely.
And
Pastor
His patience said, I admired it, bro. Sometimes I'm upset in the church, and he's just, it's okay. Simon.
Absolutely,
very smooth.
He's very even keeled, and you have Pastor Olu, who's the organizer, who's very pragmatic, who's very practical, looking at things, looking how to put things together, looking how to strategize. You get those things from those people. But ultimately, it comes from God, right? Yeah. I think that's the main thing, because from 11 to 15, when I became a Christian, it sounds corny, but I was looking for my identity, right? You're looking to be validated. That's one significant thing as a man that every son needs from their father, that affirmation, that validation. You're doing great. You're doing great. You're on the right path. You're ahead. This man, Tutu, I call Tutu to this day. I'm 26. And Tutu tells me, Enoch, you're on the right path. Like, just that's encouraging, right? However you take it, it's very encouraging, because it's like, yo, you're getting affirmation from someone who's been there before and is also trying to walk the right path. And it encourages you to keep walking, because you're going to get to that point one day, and maybe you have to say that to someone else in the future. So you're picking these different things from other people, but essentially it comes from God. Because I was looking for that validation, and I feel like when I became a Christian, God literally took me by the hand and started teaching me. And it wasn't like, okay, this a spiritual being. I'm saying through the word, right? I was that person that was inclined to like read the word and to understand and to learn more about it. So through that, God's saying, this is how you go about this. This is how you approach this. No, if we're taking it from a biblical perspective, this is what it is. And I'm kind of taking these steps, and I'm making mistakes still, right? I have these figures along the way, but essentially God's holding me by the hand, taking me. I'm learning my mistakes. I'm learning why I fell short, but also I'm growing from these things. And I'm just continuing to look to the word, and I continue to just build and mature. So I have to give ultimately God credit for that, and the word credit for that, because if God didn't give me that desire to kind of lean on that, the certain things that I do now, because of that, I wouldn't be able to do. Even how I approach my relationship. Yeah. I said, yo, I am dating to marry. It is just that simple. To the point that, and my girlfriend knows this, right? When we were working together, I sat her down and I said, can you see me as being the husband of your children? I was 17.
Whoa.
I was 17 when I said that.
But that's how we want to build them,
you know?
But
that came from just having a kingdom perspective, having the right perspective biblically. And I had the maturity to do that, because I wasn't looking for dating in the sense of how the world does it, right? Looking to this, and I said, yo, you know what? I want the one and done, right? I want to have this companion that I grow with through the years, and it flourishes into a marriage, and it just continues to go from there, because I just felt it was something that was good. From what I've seen in Scripture, it was just something that was desirable. I know I'm talking a lot, but
man, tell your truth, bro. Tell your truth.
Point being is, it was really and truly God that kind of taught me how to be a man.
Yeah.
I want to say this quickly. Like, first of all, I appreciate your kind words, Enoch.
No doubt.
And all the man them, because at the end of the day, all you guys are in my prayers, and we just want to see you guys be good. Like, we don't want nothing out of it. Because being around godly people, there's nothing else more fun in the world.
It's amazing.
You know what I'm saying? I want to be around godly people, right? But the thing is, like, over the years, I've realized that, you know, there's these windows that you get in life where some people are going to come into your life for a certain period of time, and you got to know, like, hey, I got to take advantage of this moment.
Yeah.
This moment may not be here forever.
Yeah.
Right? Whether that person passes away or they move on or you just transition, right? And you should always know that, you know, because you never know when it's going to end, whether it's COVID, whether whatever. So sometimes we always say, oh, that's so-and-so, they're going to be over there forever. Or, you know, this pastor is going to be preaching here forever.
Right.
So I'm going to take my foot off the gas. And then one day, you know, it ends. The run's done. And what have you done? You know, I don't know if Jesus' disciples were like, oh, well, you know, he's
gone.
multiplying the bread. Yeah, and then one day he's gone.
Yeah.
Now they have to recall everything he said, you know? And there's time where, like, I'm telling you, the days I wish I had back was before I got married, when I used to lock myself in my room and just read my Bible for hours and had no responsibility. All I used to do was go to my local golf course job, come home and read the Bible and watch commentary videos and just read the Bible, and I had no worries. Now I can't do that. Can
you elaborate how important that is?
Oh,
to
that's
lock in and
that's everything. When I just got saved, man, I devoured the Bible. I was reading books that I didn't even have no business, like books that I thought were boring made the perfect sense to me.
Right.
And that was before social media times, I guess, right?
Yes, I think the only thing that was out was MySpace.
MySpace.
But it wasn't even. But you weren't on it like that. You just went out like twice a day.
Yeah. So
You know,
You don't wanna
totally
see the
weren't
receipts from
distracted.
MySpace.
no distractions, and it was just like you had time alone with God. You could, like, you know, write down notes and cross-reference stuff and make mistakes and interpret stuff wrong, and, you know, have the scriptures straighten you out, and like, oh my gosh, I thought that, and then
Yeah.
you could, and just to have that time to refine. And now I can't, because it's like I have to wake up early now to have time alone with God.
yeah, me too.
Because as soon as 7 o'clock hits, the kids come downstairs and it's like, Daddy, we need stuff. You know? And I don't get that anymore. There's be time where I could be by myself for a week. I can't do it by myself for a week. That's not happening no more.
Where they do that at?
Yeah, where do you do that at?
Yeah.
So take advantage of these windows that you have in life.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Well,
saying?
yeah, you're taking in doctrine, but you're applying it in a different form, right? So you don't have those moments to be alone for hours and hours and hours, but now you have to apply what you've taken for hours and hours and hours, right? You're still exercising sound doctrine, but just in a different way,
Exactly.
right?
You know, but the time isn't there no more to, like, hey, I'm gonna do a line by line
Right.
study of Habakkuk,
Right,
and
right.
just take my time. It's like, nah, bro, nah. You gotta,
So
like,
it's important to enjoy your singleness and really
yeah, like, what's the rush?
dive into it.
You know, I'm not saying people shouldn't get married, but
Yeah.
what's the rush?
Yeah.
Develop yourself as a man,
Yeah.
strengthen yourself,
Yeah.
so you know who you are,
Yeah.
right? Because I got lucky with my wife. I got blessed, sorry, right? My wife was, like, she loved me and she supports me, and I'm like, yes, I got lucky. I took a shot in the dark, and she was just the perfect person. She was a perfect person, but I mean, like, you know,
For you.
for me, right? But the thing is, I never like had this vetting process of her where I'm like, I'm gonna vet you. I'm gonna see if you're a Proverbs 31 woman. I had none of that. I didn't do none of that, right? And God's like, yo, I'm gonna work it out for this clown. 'Cause
You can't do it on his own.
yeah, but some mans don't get lucky, don't get fortunate enough to take the Bible and pick your spouse properly. You feel me? God bailed me out. He's like, just go over there and press that button, and I'll take care of it, because you don't know what you're doing. But imagine you could go in the Word and actually say,
Fervent woman.
yeah, I shouldn't be friends with those people, because here's what the Bible
Bible
says.
says, yeah.
And those guys should. You know how much heartache I would have saved myself?
Yeah.
You know?
I agree.
Yeah, but I wasn't. But so as a man, know your word, so that your choices in life are easier.
Yep.
So your choices in life are easier.
Yep.
So you know when you're making a choice, you know for sure, right?
Yeah.
So right now, you know adultery's not in the Bible. It's a no-brainer, right? So if I step out here and I see a fit thing and she's like, "Yo, come back, you might play blah blah blah," no, I already know the choice, right?
Yeah.
Because it's obvious.
Yeah.
But there's more other choices in life that you have to prepare yourself for. You know that you should use the single time to do.
And how did you guys' spouses or girlfriend added to your walk with Christ, or like just making you better as a man? How has that helped you? Because you know you got to big up the girls. Like how how they.
I would say it's twofold. So one, it happened during my pursuit of my girlfriend. She initially she didn't like me at the time, but I still wanted to build something with her. So I continue to be her friend. That even in rejection, I still I wasn't hard-hearted towards her, but I continue to try and ensure that whatever experience we had, whether it was boyfriend or girlfriend or as friends, she left better because of me or because of how Christ is working in my life. And that was the commitment I made to myself just internally. That okay, you may not like me, you may not have this relationship, but I hope that you can look back on the relationship we did have, the friendship that we did have, and say, yo, I became better as a result of that. And obviously, the certain things that you have to embody as a Christian, right? Your spouse is not perfect, or my girlfriend's not perfect, right? There's aspects or moments of patience that I need to have, or areas where I fell short, I was too short-tempered, or I said this and it was crass, or things that expose my sin that either I have to internalize and refine in myself, or things that she might call out. This is how it is, and I'm like, oh man, I didn't see it that way, or maybe I did see it that way, but I didn't want to address it, right? She calls maybe hypocrisy out on me. Like there's this kind of twofold refining within yourself and from her that you kind of have to embrace if you're going to be in a godly relationship, because it's not like my girlfriend's settling for someone who's going to be lax and just not care. She wants a godly man. That's why she's in the relationship. So I think it began with that, but also just keeping Christ in the picture. I think that was also part of it too with the pursuit. Like I have to love like Christ. Yes, you may not love me, you may not have this great affection for me, but I do for you, kind of as we do with Christ, right? Christ continues to love us. Our love might wane. Our love is fickle. Circumstances might change the way we love Christ. Oh, Christ, you did this for me, now I love you. Or Christ, you didn't do this for me, now I'm not so high on you. I'm not so committed. But Christ remains steadfast and consistent regardless, right? Yes, you have sinned. Yes, you have fallen away. Yes, you may even be rebellious and just conduct yourself like an enemy towards me, but I'm still going to love you. I'm still going to be consistent in my area and my approach to you. And I think that's how I try to embrace it at times. That, man, like I feel offended. I feel unloved. I don't feel like I'm valued, but I still care about you because I want to be like Christ. I think that was a part of it.
Sorry, I need you guys to give me some quick answers because my laptop's about to die.
Okay. For me, my wife keeps me accountable. So as a man, you can't really slack in terms of like, you stay putting food on the table as a working man, and you do stuff around the house, take care of your kids, whatnot. From a biblical perspective, my wife, she's divine counsel. The Bible says she's your helpmeet, and I'm trying to figure it out. You know that every time I don't listen to my wife, I lose time or money? I tried it. Like bands, bro.
Wow.
I'm not lying to you.
Yeah.
It's like it's the same effect that when I never used to listen to my parents, even though my parents weren't Christian, just because I disobeyed them, God makes sure whatever I did, it didn't work out for me. And that's what my wife does. So my wife would be like, yo, you know what, we shouldn't really do that right now. And I'm like, well, yeah, but technically, because I'm technical, like, no, technically, everything works out. It works out. Bomb. Time, money lost. Don't be friends with that guy. Yo, but he's cool. Made friends with him. Yeah. Yo, that guy's a snake. Yeah. Told you. Yeah. So I'm learning to listen to my wife. Right. So she brings that to the table, and I trust her counsel. And if she says something, usually I have to like, okay, but he always works out for the better when I listen to her. Like it's just something divine,
Yeah, I'm gonna be quick. These guys summed it all up for me. But when I was pursuing my wife or my girlfriend at the time, before she became my girlfriend, she didn't want to talk to me. She knew I was in the streets still. I'm just, this guy's not serious. He's just talking that talk. He tried to talk to one of my friends. Well, like, that mentality with women, right? So what drew me to my wife to be at the time even more. I was going through some stuff where I just found out I had a child, whatnot, and I seen God in my wife. In a sense where she told me pretty much, go fix that. Go make that
She
work.
put her feelings to the side.
You know what I mean?
Damn.
That's where your home is. That's where you should, focus your attention at, right? And for her to be selfish like that, she could have easily said, yeah, screw them, blah, blah, blah. But the fact that she told me to work it out, like, at the end of the day, like, that's your child's mom, work it out, right? I grew more of a love for her even more.
That's
the
when
fact
you knew. That's when you knew.
That's
She
when,
was the one.
like, I realized that, you know what? Like, this girl's different, man.
Yeah.
And she keeps me accountable. Like, sometimes it's so annoying, like,
Right.
like we fight, but she's coming from a good space, and she's forced me to even communicate. I hate communicating. I don't like talking. Like, I like talking when it's something that I'm passionate about.
Right.
But like stuff I don't want to hear, I don't like talking. Right.
I get that.
But she's forced that out of me, where we have to talk at the end of the day, right? We gotta come to a resolution out of this, right? So she's keep me even grounded, accountable. So much I could say about her. Without her, again, this whole process that the guy that I am today, she's had a big part in it, right? So I'm grateful for her, and that's why I see God in her, right? Because she didn't give up on me. She put me before her, right? God put his love before himself, right? He sent his only son to die, right? Think about it. Would you send Malachi, right? Take you and Enoch are homies right now. Enoch keeps sinning, keeps disrespecting you. And you say, you know what? Let me send Malachi to go and die for Enoch's, sins or the way he treats me. You know how powerful that is?
Very powerful. Very powerful.
That's crazy.
Very powerful.
So for the fact that God did this for me and I see that in my wife, I'm like, you know what? I'm sold. Sign me up. I'm sold.
Wow, that's a lot of stuff. Last thing, I'll be doing a disservice if I didn't ask this. Can you guys give some words of advice to the young men out there? Quick words of advice, please.
I'll give this a 2 too. Yeah, I'll go on and on. So I'll let you take
Quickly,
my answer.
words of advice. The Bible always wins in the long run. The world will win in the short run, in the sense that, they're gonna say, oh, that book's outdated, it's archaic, it's the white man's religion. They'll make all sorts of excuses. But the only reason they hate the Bible because the Bible exposes their sin. So the Bible's gonna win in the long run. I everywhere I go, people are like, oh my gosh, you're married with kids? And it's a testament to how far this world has gone, where they can't see a young black male as a married, stable man. It's a shock.
Yeah.
Older people than me, people my age. Oh, I thought you were. No, I'm married. I'm stable, right? So, first and foremost, the Bible always wins. You're not gonna win going against the book. You're not gonna win. The book is undefeated.
Yeah.
You can't beat it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's one. And the second and the first thing is, don't let people talk you out of your marriage. Don't let people talk about your relationship. You are ready, right? You must, obviously take counsel, but you are ready to be married and do what is right, and God will bless you. His word's not going to come back to him void. He will bless you if you do it right. It's the first institution he made was marriage. First thing God said, hey, I'll make it marriage first. So all these people out in the world that are trying to redefine it or trying to fight against it, they're going against the image of what Christ and his church look like. Yeah. And you will pay for it.
Yeah.
You will pay for it. Enough men are paid child support because they went against the marriage. Enough men are sick and dying of AIDS right now because enough men went and tried to get with the next man girl, and now look, they caught a murder charge or they're dead because of it. Right? You're not going to win going against the book. You will never win going against the book.
I think find the faithful. I'll say that. A lot of times we were talking about just broken homes, bad marriages. You guys probably in your personal lives hear stories about he cheated on her, she cheated on him. And we kind of hear that, and that's part of just our culture or just our conversation. But I think one thing we need to do in order to take steps to have better marriages, lean and find people that are thriving in their marriages. They're not perfect, but they're thriving in their marriages. We look at people that are always just, the broken relationships. We don't need to do that. One good thing to get us in a good space, people that are pursuing relationships rightly, go find them. Go seek them out. Learn from them.
Yeah.
Insulate yourself in that community. Because it's like you hear this and then it's like, is that gonna be me?
Yeah.
Am I gonna cheat on the woman at work? Am I gonna? No, man. We have to stop doing that. We have to stop kind of cultivating that type of environment, incubating ourselves in that space, and get out of that and say, nah, I'm looking towards people that are gonna be faithful in their marriage because that's what I want. Where they are is where I want to be, so that's where I'm gonna go. I'm not gonna continue entertaining the talk about failed relationships and just men and women being horrible. None of that. Because there are men and women in relationships, in marriages, that are doing it right. We need to stop buying into that lie that all around us is disaster. There are people that are doing it right, and they've succeeded in their marriages till death do us part. One of them has died, and they were faithful. They were good in their marriages. So we need to kind of have that perspective and have that type of desire to seek those people out.
And we need to celebrate that more, man.
Absolutely.
We need to celebrate that more. It's not right. But yeah, I'm going to end it real quick because I know this is going to die, but all these points these gentlemen just said, I wholeheartedly agree with it. Last but not least, find yourself in the Word. Find yourself in the Word, man. If I could tell my younger self that, find yourself in the Word. All of these things that are glam and gold and glitz will all pass, but the Word will stay relevant. Till this day, it will stay relevant. So find yourself in the Word.
Good words to live by. Well, we can go on forever. But I appreciate you guys for real talk. Like,
Bro.
That was some deep. I had to just give you guys a ball and get out the way. You guys ISO'd the whole game, but people, you won't. This is not the last time you're seeing these guys. You'll see them in the near future, couple, months. But I encourage all men to listen to this. You heard what they said. But yeah, that's all, folks. My signature. That's all, folks. This is a Juxtaposition podcast, and we're out.
Peace.
Peace.